Hello viewers, I am Stella RANI, Assistant Professor of English from A.D.M. College for Women Autonomous NAGAPATTINAM. Today I am going to take the subject of Indian English Literature. Now we are going to see the topic On Killing a Tree. It was written by Giv Patel. Let's see about the poet. The simple poem with a profound meaning on killing a tree has been written by Giv Patel. He was a famous Indian poet, playwright, painter as well as a physician. He was born in Mumbai and has completed all of his education from Mumbai. There are many plays and poetry collections to his credit. However, he is better known for his poems. His notable works. His poems speak of deep concern for nature and expose man's cruelty to it. His notable poems are included How Do You Withstand? It was published in 1966, and next Body, it was published in 1976. Next Mirrored Mirroring, it was published in 1991, and On Killing a Tree, it was published in 1966. He also wrote 3 plays. First one titled Princess, next one Savaksa, and last one Brahma. Let's see about the poem. The poet through this poem ironically conveys a profound message to the readers on saving trees. He ironically conveys a message that we should not cut trees. He says that trees are living beings just like human beings or any other form of life. Throughout the poem, the poet has described various effectively steps to completely kill or destroy a tree. You might ask as to how he is trying to stop a killing of a tree, but yes, he is truly trying to stop the killings of trees by sensitizing people towards the importance of trees in our life by the effective use of irony in the poem. It means it is a figure of speech in which a witty language is used to convey insult or ridicule or scorn, especially saying one thing but implying the opposite. We may also call it sarcasm or satire. Next, what is the literary tools in the poem? The poet Giv Patel has effectively used irony and has successfully conveyed his intended message to the readers. In the poem, he meticulously explained all the effective steps to completely finish off a tree but implies just the opposite. He means to say that trees are very important part of our life. They are living beings just like any other form of life. We should not destroy them. Indirectly, he pursued the readers not to destroy trees and equates it with killing a human being. Irony in the poem, poet suggests steps for completely killing or destroying trees but implies something else. Next, what is the message of this irony? The message opposite meaning is that we should not cut trees. However, in the poem, the poet has explained the steps in killing trees. He is also showing the cruelty and insensitivity of selfish human, as the process of killing a tree itself is really cruel. Next, let's enter into the first stanza. It takes much time to kill a tree, not a simple job of the knife will do it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crest, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous height, sprouting leaves. The first stanza explained about the poet says that a simple cut does not destroy a tree. It takes a long time to kill it because a sudden rough blow of the knife will do nothing to the tree because it has grown up strong and consuming the earth slowly. It grows up and rises from the crust of the earth, absorbing years of sunlight, earth, water. In simple words, it takes nutrition from the soil to grow into a big tree. And from it discolored and uneven bark. The branches and leaves come out. Let's enter to the second stanza. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise cruel green twigs. Miniature boughs, which if unchecked will expand ahead to form a size. In the second stanza explained above, the poet says that cutting the tree roughly by striking heavy blows and chopping won't do anything to the enormous tree. It will not feel any pain and its bleeding bark will heal very soon. If we cut from the bottom, that is from close to the ground, the cruel green twigs will start growing with many branches coming out. If they are unchecked, then they will expand ahead to their normal and formal size as they are used to be earlier. Next, enter to the third stanza. No, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, tied and pulled out, stamped out or pulled out entirely. Out from the earth cave, and the strength of the tree exposed the source, white and wet, the most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. Third stanza explain about the poet utters the word no, because just a small cut with a knife or chop with an axe will no harm a grown up tree. So now he sarcastically, ironically explains the steps to kill a tree to the readers. He ironically says that for a killing tree, first the root have to be pulled out from its anchoring holding earth, that it is mother whom the tree holds tightly and securely. He says that it has to be pulled out entirely or tied up with a rope and then chopped into pieces. And once a tree is separated from the earth cave, when the source root, which is white and wet, which is the most sensitive and hidden part of a tree, is exposed out, then the tree loses its strength. Last stanza, then the matter of scorching and choking in the sun and earth, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. Last stanza explain about the poet says that once the tree has been uprooted, it gradually withers and dries up due to the sun and wind. It turns into brownish color, hardens up, twists and finally sheds off its skin under different weather conditions. And then the process is over. Now the tree is killed completely and nothing is left. In the poem On Killing a Tree, the poet describes a method that will most effectively kill a tree. By stating the method, the poem conveys a message that Mother Nature has regenerative powers and cannot be destroyed easily. Further, trees sustain our leaves and hence must be preserved. What are the metaphors used in the poem? First one, leprous hide. Leprous is used to define scaly skin caused by an infectious disease. The poet here means that the skin of the tree looks leprous, meaning rough and scaly. Next word, bleeding bark. The poet means the sap or the fluid in a tree which oozes out when a tree is cut down. He compares the sap to the human blood here. Next, what are the personifications used in the poem? On killing a tree, the tree has been personified from the title till the end of the poem because the killing word is the personification. Next, as grown. Next word, slowly consuming the earth. Last word, the bleeding bark will heal. At last, we can say that the poet, the Giv Patel, described the cruelty of man in killing or destroying the tree with the irony and convey a message that trees are an essential and integral part of our life and so we should not cut them. Thus, the sympathy with the tree and nature in general, as it is being destroyed day by day by selfish humans. Let's enter to the second poem, Indian Weavers. It was written by Sarojini Naidu. Let's about the author. Sarojini Devi was a great patriot, politician, orator and administrator of all the famous women of India. Mrs. Sarojini Devi's name is at the top. Not only that, but she was truly one of the jewels of the world, being one of the most famous heroines in the 20th century. Her birthday is celebrated as Women's Day. She was born on 13th February 1879. She was an Indian political activist and poet who served as the first governor of United Provinces after independence. She played an important role in the Indian independence movement against the British Raj. She was the first Indian woman to be president of the Indian National Congress and appointed as governor of a state. Next, her literary works as a poet earned her the nickname the Nightingale of India by Gandhi because of the color, imagery and lyrical quality of her poetry. Her works included both children's poems and other written on more serious themes including patriotism and tragedy. Here in the Bazaars of Hyderabad, it was published in 1912. It remains one of her most popular poems. Naidu begins writing at the age of 12. Her play Maher Munir, written in Persian, impressed the Nizam of Kingdom in Hyderabad. Next, Naidu's poetry was written in English and usually took the form of lyric poetry in the tradition of British Romanticism, which she was sometimes challenged to reconcile with her Indian nationalist politics. In this poem has been taken from the poet's first volume poetry titled The Golden Threshold. It was published in 1905. Her notable works, The Bird of Time, Songs of Life, Death and the Spring. It was published in 1915. Next, The Broken Wings, Songs of Love, Death and Destiny. It was published in 1917. Next, The Father of the Dawn. It was published in 1961. At last, Naidu died of cardiac arrest on 2nd March 1949 at the Government House in Lucknow. Poem Indian Weavers by Sarojini Naidu is a short poem consisting of 3 stanzas having 4 lines each. The poet talks about 3 types of dresses that the Indian weavers weave at 3 particular times of the day, metaphorically each time, and the dress weaved in that time symbolizes a particular stage of life. This poem is a metaphor for the 3 stages of life: birth, youth and death. The poem has the rhyming scheme AABB. The poet uses a number of literary devices to express her ideas like simile, imagery, metaphor, etc. The poem consists of a discussion between the poet and the weaver. The poet asks the weavers and the latter reply. Let's enter to the first stanza. Weavers weaving at break of day. Why do you weave a garment so gay? Blue as the wing of a halcyon wild, we weave the robes of a newborn child. The first stanza explained about the poet asks the weavers why they are weaving cloth early in the morning, which seems to be quite beautiful and charming gay. The cloths are blue as the wing of a halcyon wild. Halcyon is the other name of the kingfisher. The wings of the kingfishers are bright blue in color. In addition, blue color also symbolizes loyalty. The blue color thus symbolizes something beautiful and precious. Hence, in this stanza, the cloth weaved by the weavers are quite special, and this is why the poet is curious to know about them. The Indian weavers replied that we weave the robes of a newborn child, that is, they are weaving the beautiful dress for a young one who has just came to the world. In this stanza, a number of images are used to describe the first stage of human life, like a break of day, garments so gay, and blue as the wing of Alcyon wild. This stage is full of happiness, freshness, hope, beauty, etc. There is no sorrow in this stage. Let's enter to the second stanza. Weavers weaving at fall of night, why do you weave your garment so bright? Like the plums of a peacock, purple and green, we weave the marriage wills of queen. Second stanza explain about the poet again meets the Indian weavers, this time during the fall of night. It probably referred to the evening or dusk time when the sun sets and darkness paves the way. Moreover, it is also the time during which most of the Indian marriage take place. The poet questions the weavers why they all weave a garment so bright like the plums of a peacock, purple and green. The garment at this time is bright and full of color like feather of peacock, unlike the one color blue. Next, the weavers replied that they weave the marriage wills of a queen, thus referring to the second or in the other word, adult stage of life. During this stage, humans are quite active. They love each other, get married and quest for a better and prosperous life. The colors purple and green symbolizes sorrow and the happiness or struggles and easy in one's adult stage. And these all colors or ups and downs of life makes the sorrow and happiness. Let's enter to the third stanza. Weavers weaving Solomon and still. What do you weave in the moonlight chill? White as a feather and white as a cloud, we weave a dead man's funeral shroud. Third stanza explain about the poet finds the weavers Solomon and still, that is, they are quite sorrowful, grieved and silent. They are weaving something weird in the moonlight chill, that is, in the dead of the night, which is white as a feather and white as a cloud, that is, colorless and lifeless. As the poet fails to figure out what it is the cloth and why they are sorrowful and silent, she asks them what they are weaving rather than why are they weaving. Then reply to the author that they are weaving shroud, cloth put on the dead body for a dead person. Thus the third and the final stage is death, which is emotionless and lifeless like a white cloud or feather. In this way, the life which begins with life, joy, hope, etc. ends with sorrow and grief. The theme of this poem is the parallelism that the poet beautifully draws between the three parts of the weaver's workday and three stages of human life. The poem has been written in iambic tetrameter and its three stanzas follow the rhyming scheme of A, A, B, B, C, C, D, D and E, E, F, F. Poetic style of this poem. The style used in the poem is simple and lucid with each stanza beginning with a question to evoke the reader's interest. Next, what are the poetic devices in the poem? The uses of simile in blue as the wings of Halcyon wild. Next, metaphor in break of day, compare it to childhood. Next, alliteration in repetitive consonant sound of V throughout the stanzas of P in purple, peacock and repetitions of the words weavers, weaving and weave. Across the poems are the example of these poetics. At last, this poem explained about the human beings on earth in three main stages by using symbols of like cloth and times of the day. The journey of the life begins with one color blue, which means joy and happiness. It continues with the additions of a number of colors green, and purple, which means sorrow, also enter into life along with happiness. Life is more active in this stage than in the first stage. The final stanza, all the color vanish away and single color white remains, which means emotions are connected with life, and when the person dies, emotion also dies. Moral and message of this poem. The message being conveyed by the poem is that of the perpetual motions of life, where each stage characterized by its unique emotions lost for a while before the next one comes along to take its place. I find this poem a good read as it is short poem which is packed with imagery. Thank you one and all. Thank you.